Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Twin Suns Syndicate. My name is Mark, and today I have a very special guest. You guys have never seen this guy on the channel before, which is wild. But Ian and I have made content together for card games for like 6 years now. Very regularly for probably 3.5 years, and then with a decent level of consistency until 5 years, and then this last year we've done a little less together as you have gone to Lorcana. But welcome to the channel, man.
Thank you, man. So excited to be here and chat Star Wars Unlimited. It's funny, like, you know, we did that division. I kind of got really into Lorcana, and I'm still very into Lorcana. But very recently, I've just been playing a lot of Star Wars Unlimited with this last set. It got me really rehooked on it. So yeah, I mean, just really excited to be here and talk about the Secrets of Power stuff. Very cool stuff.
Ian is one of the guys when I talk about, hey, I played my Twin Suns list this week. Ian is usually one of the guys that I'm playing with. I think last time you played Vader 4 with was it another space guy? I can't even remember.
It was I think it was Vader with Boba, and then another time I switched it out to Vader with I can't remember his name, the guy from the Han Solo movie, the weird four-armed alien pilot.
He's
got the pilot deploy on 5. Rio.
Yes, Rio. Yeah,
I was trying that out.
And that was kind of before. We haven't really played much since Legends of the Force came out. It feels like that World Championship was so quick. Did you have a card? We didn't prepare for this. Did you have a card that's like that you really liked that maybe was your favorite card in Legends of the Force? Because there's so many freaking cool cards in Legends, like so many.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, there's a bunch. I got to play, so I've actually been going to locals a little bit more. So I got to win. I won the release event that I went to.
Nice.
Thanks to I played Maul Blue at the release event, and Talzin's Assassin was just broken.
Yes, it is very good.
I also got to play last time I went a week or two ago to League. I played the Kazuda Blue. I've never seen the show that Kazuda's in, so I always forget his name. But I played Kazuda Blue. Yeah. And man, I love Ogdo Bogdo.
Dude, Kazudo and the new and Han 2 both love Ogdo Bogdo. Right?
I know a lot of people don't. I love Ogdo Bogdo, but I do think, like, separate from the cards I've been playing, I think my favorite card is unfortunately, like, not super used right now, but it's got to be good sometime, is the 7-drop Qui-Gon. And just a big late game bomb, but I mostly love it because Qui-Gon's one of my favorite characters, and because I did pull a hyperspace foil of it, and it's just like the prettiest card with the fog on it. Yeah,
very nice. Yeah. Qui-Gon's one in all of my boxes that I opened. I did not open a single Qui-Gon Jinn or a single Yoda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I opened up like 3 Grogus, but no Yodas, no Qui-Gons. I opened up a couple of Vaders. I opened up one of the Anakins. I think honestly, some of my favorite cards from the set are just some of the early game cards because we have so many like 2/4s, a 2/5 now on 2 with like good keywords. It was really interesting. I was listening to some of the World Championship and some of the guys who designed Legends of the Force, and they talked about how they really have been trying and have always been trying to push Star Wars to a mid-range game, which is our favorite way to play any card game. Yeah. And the way that they really pushed that was more resilient 2-drops, which is a really great way to push something into a very board-centric mid-range style of play.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's in every color. There's something now that has like a 2/4 or even a 2/5 stat line, or better, right? Like, I've been loving as a cunning heavy player. I'm a player with a cunning heavy portfolio. Playing all of my, the Orsing is awesome.
Yeah.
And she's just been kicking butt. I've been playing a little bit of the Jedi stuff with like Adi Gallia, Gungi, those are really powerful. I mean, it's super
so
sweet
strong
to like slap a lightsaber on them.
Really
General's
fun.
Blade, and even I pulled 4 constructed lightsabers.
Oh
and
my
very
gosh.
few amount of packs, like I think I bought 2 boxes, like 4 constructed lightsabers across all that. It's kind of ridiculous. So I've just been trying it out in a lot of things that normally, you don't play it in. But
what's a staple in the deck that took second at the World Championship in the Kylo deck? And so, unfortunately, there's a lot of other very expensive cards that are staples in that deck as well.
I think I'm gonna steer clear of that one. I did manage to score a Vader set. I bought the third one, but I got 2, and so I've been playing a lot of Garsax and ECL with Vader, and that's been really satisfying.
Got more Vaders than I do, man. You got more Vaders than me. But in addition to the World Championship, Legend of the Force, all that stuff happening, which is super exciting, in order to build even more hype, Fantasy Flight also released information about a new set called Secrets of Power. And so we're going to take a look at the cards that have been spoiled so far for Secrets of Power and have a little conversation about them. So let me go ahead and let's get the screen up here and take a look at all the cards that have been spoiled so far for Secrets of Power. There might be a few more out there drifting somewhere, but these are the ones that are on Star Wars DV. And so SWUDB, so the SWU-DB, that's what we're going to go for. So the first one is Chancellor Palpatine. We're going to talk about the 2 leaders first. Chancellor Palpatine literally reads, he's a 6/8 when he is deployed. The next card you play using Plot this phase costs 3 less. I'm going to go ahead and pull him up on his front side. He has action, pay 1, exhaust, inserts the top 5 cards of your deck. For a card with Plot, reveal it and draw it. This is the perfect time to go over what a Plot card is. So a card with Plot goes into your resource row, and on the turn that you deploy your leader, you may play any card from your resource row with Plot immediately, and then you may replace every card that you played with Plot with a card from the top of your deck, putting, you're not losing resources whenever you do this. In other words, you're not depleting your resources. Mm-hmm. So basically, Chancellor Palpatine flips on 7 as a 6/8 and allows you to play one of those cards that you previously put down with Plot for 3 less. And then he also allows you to pay 1, exhaust him, inserts the top 5 cards for one of those cards with Plot. Let's talk about Plot as a mechanic in general. After Smuggle, I didn't really see Fantasy Flight coming up with better ways to use your resource row. This is really creative and fun. I think so.
I totally agree. So I'm a huge fan of Smuggle as a mechanic, and I almost never leave home without a couple Smuggle cards in whatever deck I'm playing. I'm kind of hooked on Smuggle. This is partly because of my discard my hand trauma. I've been force throwed enough times that I always want something to be able to play out of my resource row. But I also just think it's, both for, standard constructed, but also especially for Twin Suns. I love Smuggle. I'm always throwing, different Smuggle cards, even sort of like, maybe not perfectly cohesive with my dual leader setup, but like just anything. There's that pirate battle tank that I'm always
the pirate battle tank's great.
I jam that into every single Twin Suns deck because there's just so many times when a ground sentinel will save you from being targeted down and instead redirect it to somebody else to give you a shot at the game.
We talk about that on this on the channel all the time. Like, Sentinel is so much more powerful in Twin Suns than it is in constructed.
It really is
so powerful.
It is wild. Like, having played, my favorite Twin Suns deck and the one I have fully hyperspaced is a General Grievous Dooku deck, and it's one of those decks where like I will be so healthy that it will sometimes reverse on me, and it'll be like, well, no one's wanted to attack him all game, and he's still at full health because of all of his Battle Droid Sentinels, so I guess we should probably do something about that. Like, Sentinel's so strong. But to the point of Plot, I like it a lot because it kind of takes the Smuggle component, and instead of spacing it out across the course of the game where you can kind of pay this extra cost, your Plot cards are actually going to be able to break that pass system and do something that you can almost never do in Star Wars Unlimited, which is play multiple cards at the same time. Which, if the Plot cards themselves are good enough, can sometimes really snowball a specific flip turn for you in a way that, like, I don't know, I guess we really only see right now with something like Kylo Ren, right? Where you're able to, like, effectively flip your leader and play the attachments all in one action, right?
And if you're playing snapshot sites, attack as well.
Yeah, that too, right? So like that is something that really has a ton of potential, and I think nothing more so even than Palps here, because obviously you were looking at the leader there. The front side has kind of a in my initial reading of it, and again we may look at this later and be like, that's crazy, but in my initial reading, kind of a meh ability. It lets you sort of weave it in if you have to undercurve, which happens plenty in Star Wars Unlimited. You have a floating resource and they've already claimed, okay, I might as well use Palp's ability. But the flip turn, being able to give you 3 free resources to then snowball a bunch of effects out and into play all at the same time, it's the same reason why, like, in many ways, theoretically Kylo, like, it's theoretically the same reason that Kylo works, is that you're getting this late flip, but you're getting so much value for it, especially when you basically get 3 free resources to spend on plot cards.
Yeah, I think for me, I love, because I've always been kind of a combo deck player. Like, I like proactive combo decks in most of the games that I play. I like that clever feeling of being able to pull something off. I think that the new Kylo deck definitely is a proactive combo-centric deck, which is interesting that it's sort of like a little taste of that before we get a set that's focused on it. What I do like about this, though, is it's kind of contained. And so the negative of proactive or even reactive combo decks is when you can get it to the point that it is so reliable that it can OTK, right? One turn kill, just in one turn, right? I've played a lot of that Kylo deck online, and it doesn't always, very frequently, like, if you're not able to be proactive enough to chip away, you're not going to win the game. Because if you play Kylo and you don't win that turn and they respond to it, then okay, you lost, right? And I think what I like about plot is it's saying, like, hey, there's now going to be a whole bunch of leaders that basically are going to say to you, hey, when I flip, it's going to be a big turn. And if you are unprepared for it, if I've been able to whittle your resources down leading up to it so that you're not prepared for it, and you might be able to do that because you're not putting your good cards in the resource row, you're putting your plot cards in the resource row. One of the things I like about Chancellor Palpatine's front side is, like, one resource to draw a card's good. One resource that's with very little stipulation, if you're playing a plot deck, to search 5 cards and get whatever card you want is even better, because it basically is saying, like, hey, if you can spare a resource this round, I'll let you draw 2 cards every turn, and you can pick the card that you want to resource, right? Because you're going to get a card that you're going to resource, and so you're always going to get the 2 cards. Obviously, you're now going undercurve in order to, on your plot turn, have a big turn and to always have card advantage. I don't think there's a lot of other leaders that we have right now that have the ability to get that type of card advantage, right? I think, what did we have? Like Padmé or something that, no, not even Padmé. It was the Admiral.
Not good leaders anyways.
Yeah, the Admiral that could do it with resistance units. So it'll be interesting to see if Chancellor's good.
I think, if I may, like, the thing that's interesting about this, I guess I kind of disagreed slightly, which is that, like, I don't think it's as good as just draw a card, right? Because then you're basically limited by the plot cards and the strength of the plot cards, right? Because theoretically, if it's a pay 1, draw 1, you could be top decking Overwhelming Barrage or Takedown or something, a key moment. Like, you'll never be able to get something like that unless that card is a plot card. So if the plot cards themselves are not, like, crazy strong, and instead they're more like, hey, like, you have to make this deck investment to, like, put this 15 to 20 cards that are plot in so that you can have this big flip turn with Palps or whatever, deck that theoretically synergizes around plot. Like, something like this you're really limited by the card pool and how good the plot card is, because it's not the kind of thing that will save you. Like, oh man, I really need to, I'm on 6 resources and I really need to board wipe here. You're not going to be able to find Overwhelming Barrage. You're not going to be able to, find, I don't know,
Super Laser Blast,
Craving Power, Super Laser Technician on early turns. Like, theoretically, if you could, dig for ramp or something like that, whoa, crazy. But, like, that's not what this is. But the other thing I will say, like, the counterpoint to this is, like, anybody who plays the game a lot, or watched a lot of the the main tournament, like there's a lot of times where people undercurve because they have to answer something.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many times did you see people like undercurving I don't know, No Good to Be Dead, or undercurving, a daring raid. They really needed to snipe something, so they, Cad Bane deck is like, okay, well, I have to deal with that, or it's going to get out of control. I'm going to finish it off with my daring raid, right? Like, okay, but now I can't play the on curve play, so I need to fill my resources with something else. Like, I think that's something that, like, I think that people are going to be. People who play Chancellor Palpatine will find times to use this. Like, It may only be once, but once is still another plot card that you get to put down the resources, and it's still a +1 hand advantage.
That's true. Yeah. This isn't like other leader abilities that you necessarily have to use every turn to get something from it.
Right.
Our other leader is going to deal with our other sort of like key here. She reads, when you reveal or discard one or more cards from your hand, you may exhaust this leader. If you deal 1 damage to a unit. On the back, she flips on 6 as a 3/8, which is not a great stat line. But when you reveal or discard one or more cards from your hand, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. This is sort of getting around this right here, which is disclose, which is our other new mechanic, which basically says you're going to reveal a card from your hand, or I don't know, it might be from your resource, or even, I don't know what all the discloses will be, but you're going to reveal a card in some fashion to your opponent, giving information to your opponent, and then you're going to get a benefit from it. So you're basically trading information to your opponent for a slight benefit. So Captain Typho here, 4 resource, 4/5 with Sentinel, and then when he is attacked, you can disclose a card that has the heroism and command symbols on them. If you do, heal 1 damage from your base. Between the two, I think I actually like disclose more than plot. I think I actually like disclose more than plot, only because you can disclose something you're about to play. It's not asking you to do a ton in deck building. You're probably going to be having cards in your deck that you wanted to, that would line up with your disclose anyway. And so I kind of like disclose. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm underestimating how much of a negative it is to give your opponent information.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I think that the idea of giving your opponent information on cards is actually, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially in, like, if there's a strong enough meta deck, right? Like, you can totally see everybody knows kind of what you're playing anyways. And so unless you have to reveal your bomb, like that your bomb's in your hand, right? Like, you don't necessarily, there's not going to be, like, crazy surprised at, like, what you're going to be revealing. I think the main sort of downside to it, you also can then turn around and resource it the following turn. So I think in the early turns, not so big of a deal. I think the downside is that sometimes you'll have cards that feel, if you don't have another card of that type, and you'll either have to build so far into the consistency direction that you'll miss out on powerful cards in whatever your other color is, unless you can really get to a true, like, maybe a double command or a double, aspect pairing. Like, maybe this will be really helpful for that if they're strong enough, like, boons. But I think the main thing is that, like, you run the risk of having underwhelming cards because you don't have the right cards in your hand, or you're playing a deck that's weaker because you have to play all in on that, that disclose effects that you're really hoping to capitalize on. So I think there's some downside. The cool thing, though, is that, like, you don't actually have to have, like, all of the requirements met on one card. You can show multiple cards in order to meet the requirements, which I think is really cool. And so, obviously, in the case of Padme, you can't do that with one action on the flip side, but, like, every time you do it on the flip turn, you'd be able to damage. I think
free damage is great.
Free damage is great.
Free damage, especially without an action. right? Like pinging without having to use an action
Yeah.
to ping is
It's kind
great.
of like a Quinlan vibe going on. I think
Yeah.
the thing that's interesting about Padme is I think that the leader side is actually pretty strong. There's going to be so many ways to reveal or discard your own cards. I think in Twin Sons it seems kind of interesting. I don't, off the top of my head, have exactly what the pairing would be, and maybe we'll get an obvious pairing. But I think that like there is enough ways to discard your own cards that like, you know, her as a like ping engine throughout the course of the game could be really cool, especially if you can find a leader that does things kind of like Kylo or kind of like Trench, right, where you're just milling your own cards. It's a lot of villain decks seem to do that, villain leaders, but maybe we'll get a heroism one that does the same thing. But man, the stats on the flip are so garbage.
Yeah. They're not great.
On the a 6 flip with a 3/8 is atrocious.
Yeah.
Like criminally bad.
Yeah, I mean, one more for Chancellor Palpatine. He has a stronger flip turn, and he has 3 more attack.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
for one more resource. Ooh,
Just for one more resource.
Yeah. You're definitely trying to use Padme on her main side a lot and just like ping away and like deal little bits of damage. It'll be interesting to see like how early you can disclose. Like, can you disclose, get something that like on play disclose to
Right.
ping or deal a damage, and then you can ping with her and Tarkin Town something away? Because like if there's nothing that can allow you to, you know, show a card from your hand turn 1, it's gonna be, I mean, and we have one in Cyril, is one of the new cards, which is interesting. On attack, you may disclose 2 red and a villainy, which is interesting. I always thought it would be like 1 or 2 icons for a card. In this case, it's 3. So reveal cards from your hand with these aspect icons among them. If you do choose a unit, deal 2 damage to that unit unless its controller discards a card from their hand. That is like a card with a bajillion stipulations on it. It's like, play it for 2. It's a 2/3. Show at least 2 cards from your hand to your opponent. After you show those cards, you can deal 2 damage, but if they don't want to take the 2 damage, they can just discard a card. And it's like, ooh, that's a lot of text. This is a lot of...
It's a lot of text, yeah. And the double aggression too, obviously, being something that like now you're starting to stretch on your ability to consistently have that right away. So
Yeah, I never want a card in my deck where my opponent can say, no, you don't get to do the thing that you wanted to do. Like, I'm never doing this thing because I want them to discard a card. I'm doing this thing because I want to deal the 2 damage. Otherwise, I would not have disclosed 2 cards from my hand to you. And so the fact that it will almost always be advantageous to your opponent to be like, nah. And if it's not advantageous to your opponent, and they just take the 2 damage, you're really in trouble because the card they have back in their hand is better to them than what your agenda is. That's not.
And we also just talked about how great the stat lines on 2-drops are now. Why do I want to play a 2/3?
Yeah,
like a 2/3 with an inconsistent attack that inconsistent ability that you can't, like, it isn't immediate. It's not a when deployed or when played. It's like you have to wait a whole round. You know what I mean? Like, there's just not a lot going for your boy Cyril here.
Oh yeah, and I thought it was a when deploy. Oh no, it's even worse. Oh my gosh, it's awful.
It's real bad.
So bad.
Yeah, so bad.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, let's go through a couple of these cards. Cad Bane, 5 resource, 4/5 when played. You may defeat a unit with 2 or less remaining HP, but he does have plot, so you could flip and put him out. This has both of our favorite characters on it. Your favorite Cad Bane, my favorite Ahsoka Tano in the artwork.
Yeah, hey, you know. My guy is... It's a little disappointing. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's a fantastic card to have as a plot because you don't have to use it. Like, when you flip and you're like, oh, there's something with 2 attack or less, this is fantastic. But like, as a card to literally play on curve, like, not that great. I think it's only good as like as a trick, right? It's not the kind of card you want sitting in your hand because it's just so specific and you know, I mean, it'll come up. It's just there's better things for 5 in vigilance, villainy.
Much better.
Much better things for 5. So like the only time you really want it is plot, so that you can kind of, again, like, combo everything out on your flip turn. and like do the bunch of things all at once and maybe get this massive advantage. But I do think that it's probably only good as a optional plot card that you don't want to really have to trigger all the time. You just can trigger it if you need to.
Yeah, but then also it's like, you're just defeating a unit with 2 or less remaining HP on turn 5. There's a good chance your opponent doesn't even have that at that point in the game.
Yeah, so that's why it's only really good situationally if it's in your resources where it's not clunking up your hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wish this card was smuggle and not plot.
Oh, this would be an awesome smuggle card.
Yeah. I wish this card was smuggle and not plot. Like, be able to yank it when you need it, not just on the turn that you flip. Like, either that or I wish it was a 4/6, because then it gets away from some targeted removal. Like,
I mean,
4 or
there's a lot
5
of things that you could do to make this better. If it was even just 3 or less remaining, like it might be a little more appealing.
Be much better, yeah.
But like ultimately, it's still a card that's problematic, not because it's not good as a plot, because again, you don't have to trigger your plot cards. You can. The problem is like, what if you draw it? What if you top deck it on a key turn? You're like, crap. This guy's bordering on useless. It has no other keywords to make up for it. Like, you're not getting any of the other tangential benefits. So, yeah, not my favorite interpretation of our beloved bounty hunter, but it'll be interesting. I mean, you know what it is? You know what I will say, and we're just going to pull this back to the channel. I actually think it's a solid Twin Suns card. Right?
That's true.
Like, there's going to be something on the board with 2 or less remaining HP.
On a Twin Suns game? Yeah.
And you'll have multiple chances to get it in play off of a deploy, potentially.
I think plot is a very interesting dynamic in Twin Suns, specifically because if you have 2 leaders that deploy on the same turn, like that's already very powerful in Twin Suns, and you can kind of end games that way. If you had like 2 5-flip leaders and you flipped a couple of plots, or 2 6-drop leaders and you get them both flipped and you can like buy time with those, you could, plot could be really, really oppressive in that.
And also you have to remember too, like, being able to play multiple actions in one action is even more powerful in Twin Suns, where you would have to like survive 3 opponents doing something to your board potentially before it gets back to you to do something else. So like, being able to just go flip Armor of Fortune, which we'll get to here in a second, and then play Cad Bane and remove somebody's TIE fighter. Like, it may sound not that exciting, but you just condensed everything into one turn, and now all of a sudden you're able to go, okay, now I'm going to start picking apart everyone else's board while they're still trying to figure out what they want to do.
And trying to develop, yeah.
Armor
of Fortune is a new plot, 2 resource, +0/+3. It's an upgrade. It's fine.
Yeah. It's
fine. It's a common.
It's all right. I actually think it's solid. So like, you've got it's resilient or something. Is the
I think that's one cost.
+3.
Yeah.
But I mean, a one-off copy of this, and you're just slapping your resource as soon as you see it in the kind of reverse same way that you would normally do, like Hot Shot or something like that. I can see it. And I also can see a world where you're like, it's counterintuitive, but actually just keeping this one thing alive in the ground is important enough to spend 2 to give it a +3. Like, I can see that.
Yeah, and I think in Twin Suns it's interesting as well, because you can kind of hold this in your plot until you flip the leader, because you'll have 2 opportunities to play plot in Twin Suns, which is really interesting. And maybe you don't want it on one leader, but you do want it on another. It gives you the option to dig and just give that. And things are a lot more resilient in Twin Suns, and they stick around on the board a lot longer because there's so much to freaking clear. Removal's not nearly as efficient. And so because of that, Armor of Fortune, I think, is better on one of your leaders on the flip. Corrupt Politician, 1 cost 2/2 that has Sentinel as long as you control more units than an opponent. I always say that there's stuff that's really powerful about that, especially in Twin Suns, because you have a much higher chance of having at least, one opponent that you have more units than. If there's 2 people, you have double the chance for that to be the case. Hey, this is a little 1-drop. A 1-drop 2/2 is not bad stat line. And then if you had the bonus of it having Sentinel by just like, if you're making a lot of tokens and stuff, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I can see it, I guess. I mean, 1-drops in general just are kind of awkward to deal with, like to figure out their role. You know, I mean, you don't see a ton of 1-drops in, you know, standard constructed decks outside of things that you can either, you know, play for free, or if it's a deck that like is really aggressively trying to swarm, like a Vader 4, right? But like 1-drops are just hard to fit into things unless they have some really, really powerful effects or keywords. I mean, I don't know that this is that, but it's interesting. I mean, again, what will be really interesting is if with this Secrets of Power, which, you know, is all about the politics and everything, is there going to be a leader that can do a lot with the official tag or the Republic tag? In that case, this might actually be pretty good. But unless we have that context, I feel like it's tough to evaluate 1-drops in a bubble.
Yeah, they did say. I listened to an interview. I listened to an interview on the, I don't know, on one of the other YouTube videos that I watch, YouTube creators that I watch, and they talked to someone at the World Championship, and they did say that there's people who are designing this set, Secrets of Power, and they said that official is a very important keyword, like a very important keyword. So interesting. I am the Senate. 6 resources. Create 5 spy tokens. These are 0-2s with raid 2. I don't like 0-2s. I don't like paying 6 resources for 5 of them.
You know what I would be really into? If this was a plot card. I think I'd be into it. It still probably wouldn't be good. But if this was a plot card, that would be kind of sick. Especially because then you could use it in conjunction with things that get plus X attack, where plus X is the number of units or officials or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but, you know, I mean, just breaking this up into... yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It definitely feels like the kind of card that could be solid and sealed, like in limited formats like that. Like, you know, you don't have a big 6-drop bomb, but like, okay, well, what if I spread, you know, 10 attack across 5 units? That gets harder for people to deal with potentially. I mean, I think I can see myself like potentially putting this in a sealed deck in the right context. But yeah, it's definitely a tough one unless there's some ridiculous official synergy, or, and I'll just throw this out there, we see the law tag on this. There's a law tag. I'm gonna predict we might see was it Masa Meta, you know, the main guy, the officiant of the Senate or whatever that works with Palps. Maybe he does. He's there in the picture actually. Maybe he'll be a leader and does something with laws. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, the same way we have trick synergy. You know,
it's worth noting that they did announce that there is like planetary qualifiers that are draft and sealed now.
Oh, that's cool.
So like major events, and if you want to compete at the highest levels, like the one that leads up to the Galactic Championship and then the Galactic Championship next year, you are going to have to play a combination of constructed and sealed. And so, or draft.
Super
so
cool.
Both. They're going to make sure people can flex their skills. You can't just pilot a deck that you didn't build. You're actually going to have to be able to be a deck builder next year to be World Championship, which is dope.
I just watched them do that in the Lorcana World Championships this year, and it really was cool. There was a meta. It's like a sealed meta emerged and everything. It was pretty cool to watch. And, you know, truthfully, a lot of the best players in Constructed did still rise to the top of the sealed rounds. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, they're not just good pilots. C-3PO, a 1/3 for 1. Republic droid action. Return this unit to its owner's hand. Give a unit +2/+2 this phase. I mean, I'm not a big fan of me doing a thing and then letting you respond to it ever. This seems like an awful situation for Power of the Dark Side. Like, let me eliminate the thing from the board that I would typically use to sacrifice when you Power of the Dark Side or something else me, and then I'll buff up the thing that you can now remove with your Power of the Dark Side. Yeah, you know, once again, 1-drop's hard to get in a vacuum unless you think I'm missing something here. But
no, I think the only thing that makes this even mildly interesting is the droid tag. Now that we have some meme droid decks that you can build, you know, one more droid to add to the meme droid pile, you know, but
yeah,
still, you know, Threeps is not looking great. It's just not looking great.
No,
It's
sorry,
pretty
C-3PO.
bad. Sorry.
Jar Jar Binks, Misa Propose is his tag
I know
underneath,
you
which
love that.
is
I know you're
hilarious.
so thrilled about this.
Yeah. Two resource, 2/1, so real bad. But he's got the Gungan and Naboo trait, so coming in
The
big.
Gungans. Here we go.
The
Gungan
Gungan
deck.
Gungan deck, dude, it's coming. When played, give another friendly unit +2/+2 this phase, so very similar to what C-3PO did, but at least on when played. But he does have plot.
Yeah.
So this is I feel like they revealed this card not because it's a great plot card necessarily, but because I think it gives you an example of what we might see with plot, which is like I'd rather see a plot give a shield or a plot with Sentinel, but you're seeing like an understated unit that's going to probably buff your leader and say, do you have an answer for this big thing that I just made?
And I actually think Jar Jar could fill a role for that in some deck. And the fact that he is just command, not heroism, like that does mean it's going to be very flexible. And so this might be the kind of card that like fills slots for a deck like this. It might not be the number one thing you want when you're deploying and playing all your plot cards out, but it might be at a 2 cost. It might be just filling out the curve and making sure you get maximum value off that deploy turn. So I can see it. Like I can actually see it. It's just, I mean, again, we're looking at cards that just aren't that good to play normally, which is going to be sort of the limitation, I think, of this mechanic. If we can't find either plot cards that are just also good by themselves, or leaders that make cards with plot better when they're on the field.
Yeah. I think that cards like Jar Jar are a little interesting in Constructed and in Twin Suns.
Yeah.
Because what you can do theoretically if you're in a good position is sort of delay until your opponent has to take initiative. And then they're thinking like, I can't lose here, or they can't remove my unit with their leader. Sure. And then you flip and out comes Jar Jar or a card like Jar Jar. And it's like, even if you're not running a plot deck, I think cards like Jar Jar are interesting in a deck that's not built around plot because it screws up math.
Yeah.
Right? Math that you did, like, you thought you knew what was going to happen, and then, a card like Jar Jar Binks can screw up the math, and it could do the same in the Twin Suns list. And so I could easily see myself throwing a Jar Jar in a Twin Suns list just to bolster one of my leaders and make them harder to remove the turn they come out.
Well, and the deck building downside is nowhere near as bad. It's just one. You're not going to get your hand flooded with 2 or 3 of them. The other thing, too, that's nice about Jar Jar is you can do some, diplomacy and be like, hey, we really need to deal with this big Sentinel unit. I can buff your guy up if you don't mind running him in. Oh, okay, sure. Don't attack me. But
well, Jar Jar says you have to give a friendly unit +2/+2.
Dang.
Yeah, that would be cool because I love the politicking around the table. I always look for that.
Looking for anything that will let me do that.
Yeah, like let me be like, hey, how about yeah.
No, you're right. It does say friendly.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Fruitive, Furtive. Furtive.
Yeah.
Furtive handmaiden, a one resource, 1/1, a Naboo keywords. We got another Naboo. We got multiple Naboo leaders, which is Naboo keywords. On attack, you can discard a card from your hand if you do draw a card. It's interesting that it says you may. Once again, 1-drops are hard to do in a vacuum, like you said. Sure. Obviously, it's built to go with Padmé, right? Play this, attack, discard a card, draw a card. You're not net negative anything. And then you also get to ping for 1 with her, which is strong.
I think that maybe if this is the kind of card that it just needs strong context around it. It's bad by itself. And I don't think this is good enough to make I don't think this is good enough to say, oh man, this makes Padmé amazing. I don't think that's true. But I mean, if all of a sudden there was a bunch of cards like, Kylo's Silencer, where when discarded, cool powers and cool effects happen, all of a sudden this gets more interesting.
Yeah, and we both love anything that deals with discard, graveyard mechanics, and anything that deals graveyard mechanics and anything that deals with discard mechanics. One of my favorite cards from any of the sets has been Miggs. And he hasn't been good until this recent Kylo deck, but I'm like, oh man, I love that. I love things that are negative stuff is happening to me. Sacrifice mechanics, graveyard mechanics, discard mechanics, self-discard mechanics. I love that sort of stuff. Yeah. And so I don't know that this is the thing that's going to bring anything online, but it's interesting, Yeah. Anakin, 3 resource, 3/4 hidden. Love that we're seeing hidden carried forward. I think that's a keyword that's not just going to be like brought in one set. That seems like a staple keyword that should have been in the game from the beginning.
I totally agree. I think that, like, especially coming from Lorcana, where, like, when you play things, they come in readied, and readied things cannot be challenged or attacked in the equivalent of this. Like, it is a big transition coming back over to SWU, where you're like, okay, they have a big thing. I just can't play this character. It's just going to get gobbled up, and I either need to be okay with that, or I have to find something else to do on this turn. It can be, I don't know, it contributes. It contributes to the snowball component of SWU, which is a maybe fair complaint about the game that I hear sometimes, is that it can be very snowbally, especially if you get an even slightly rough start.
And it's a very board centric game that doesn't have a lot of wipes or a ton of super efficient removal.
Correct, yeah. And so cards that are hidden and characters that are hidden in these mid game turns, especially like 3 through 5, I feel like are really nice supplements to that, where if you're playing in a aggro v aggro or aggro v mid range sort of board centric, board trading match, you actually get to, like, hey, like, I'm gonna play this, and I'm going to take initiative after, and I will actually be able to do something with this unit before your, well-controlled ground lane just destroys it as part of its, everyday operations because you won the first turn or two.
Yeah. He has a second ability, which is if you have Padmé Amidala as a leader or a unit, he gets raid 2. So a 5/4 on the 3 resource turn with hidden is
not bad for Padmé.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty. I mean, it can't see play in anything else. Like, that's sort of the downside. Like, this is an unplayable card outside of Padmé, which there's cards like that. That's fine.
Do we have another Padmé leader?
We do, but it's awful.
Oh, that's the one that like digs
for Republic cards, and you have to pay.
It's even worse than this.
I think it is an early deploy, but the stats are pretty bad too. I mean, maybe that's worth a revisit. There's more Republic cards now, but I mean, it just doesn't have like a real reason to play it. So
Oh yeah, this Padmé's terrible. It's a 2/7 on 5 with restore 1, coordinate. Oh, coordinate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna finish reading.
Make a bunch of spy tokens,
Oh my gosh, no, thank you. Yeah. Do we have like another Padmé like unit? I don't think so.
I actually don't 100% know. Clearly not an amazing one, or else we would be like, oh yeah, the Padmé unit.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get one. I am sure we'll get an awesome Padmé unit. They can't gyp us on this.
I would think. We do have one. We have a 1/4 for 2 with coordinate. On attack, give a unit -3/-0 this phase. It's awful. It's a really bad card.
I think it's safe to say we'll get new Padmé units that we can use.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a card that, like, if you want to play Padmé, feels like an amazing auto include. I mean, a 5/4 for 3 within, awesome. That's an amazing attacker. But of course, I mean, it is. I guess my minor gripe is like, oh man, it's an Anakin that is really only good in one deck. Like, I know we have I know we've got other Anakins, and we just got a broken Anakin, but like still, he's the guy.
Yeah.
So you would have hoped it was, even if it wasn't super, super powerful, like Champion of Mortis or whatever, like I think that I would have loved to see one that's a little more versatile so you can see it show up more often. I love the artwork, I love
too.
the like snooping around. And I think I just watched this episode.
His tag is
Clone
Secret
Wars.
Husband as well, which is hilarious.
Yeah. I think like I saw this episode like a month ago when I was watching Clone Wars, like on a lark. Like, it's where Cad Bane infiltrates the temple, and it's where you get the Cad Bane hostage taker. Because it gets solved because he's snooping around in the Senate building, trying to not get caught with Padmé.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man,
pretty good.
Okay, last card. When has become now. Play a card with plot from your resources, paying its cost. Put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. Just a heads up.
Has become nerfed.
Well, it's already been said. It is getting whatever. Like it's supposed to. Yeah, an errata. You must play a card with plot for this to happen.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. Or I don't. I don't know, like maybe it just shouldn't have that thing at the bottom at all. I'm thinking that's what it is because plot by itself says when deploying a leader, you may play a card from your resources paying its cost, replace it with the top card of your deck. So the way this would read would be you play a card with plot, it replaces itself, and then you replace it again with put the top card of your deck and play as a resource for one, which is not what this is intended to do. Like that's not what this is intended to do. Some people were saying it doesn't say you must play a card with plot. You can just play this, fizzle the plot, and put a card into play as a resource on turn one. You can't do that. This is intended to just let you access plot early, is what it's intended to do.
Yeah, I'll also throw out one other thing that I think is great about this for the sake of trilogy format / Twin Sons, I suppose. It is a trick. And so you can do trick shenanigans with Jabba, potentially. Like that
and Jabba would be a fun card with plot because he comes out on like, 7? And so you could do a bunch of plots.
Well, and you have the unit too, which can and actually you have the unit that can search for tricks and discounts them.
Yep.
And so like I mean we've seen that in some Cad Bane strategies pop up here and there where like okay you've got all these great tricks, waylay and all those sorts of things, McClunky, right? Okay, now that helps you get them and it's cheaper and Jabba's a big butt boy, so. I mean, I think it's cool.
It basically reads for one resource, turn your plot card, turn the plot keyword into the smuggle keyword.
Right. It's timely intervention for plot cards. Yeah, I think it's cool. I actually genuinely really like it for its intended use, much less its broken they need to errata it use. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool card. I actually, I have a question for you because I think that's all the cards we have so far.
Yeah.
But we do have some like artwork that we've seen like from from this set. And so like on their initial announcement article, they actually showed some like set artwork. And so not only did we get obviously, the leader spotlight of Padme and Palps, but they also showed off what I think is kind of like the background thing, and we can see.
I can bring this up. You mean the Jabba here?
Yeah, it's right there. We've got Jabba. We've got Cassian. We've got Mon Mothma. This could be really cool. Like I would love to. I think I'd be really excited to see. I want to see a new Cassian leader that's
100%
good. Like, I really want a good Cassian leader. I also am excited about Mon Mothma, and I love me some Jabba the Hutt. So, like, I originally, when I heard, like, oh, it's politics, I was kind of like,
Yeah, all like you're thinking like all Coruscant themed and like Senate themed.
Yep.
But I'm down for like spies and like hidden power like in syndicates. Like that's dope.
Yes. I mean, I would love to see some stuff like that. Maybe some more Pike Syndicate stuff. But I also can your boy get a politician Dooku? You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like leader of the Separatists. Like give me a new Dooku leader. Please.
Do you think we're gonna get C-3PO as a leader?
God, I hope not.
What a waste!
What a waste of a leader. I mean, give me R2. R2's the ultimate plot armor. You never lose to that guy,
I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten it like an R2 leader.
They're not leaders. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it would be funny to get a card eventually that was an R2D2 C-3PO leader that like had not as great abilities, but it had like the ability to do two things or something like that. I think that could be really interesting. An R2D2 C-3PO leader like
Are there any other candidates like not represented here that you think we would be likely to see, or any ideas you have for leader potential?
Yeah, I think from the Cassian show, he just came out as a card. And I can never remember his name, but he's the dude with the gray hair who's like kind of leading all of the background stuff that's going on during. I can pull him up real quick.
I'm blanking on the name.
I'll pull him up real quick, but I could definitely see him being a card. I think he's in
Is it Luthen?
Luthen, I think. Yes,
Yeah.
Lucen, maybe Lucen.
Something
Yeah, that's right. Luthen Real. Yeah, him I could definitely see because like that's his whole thing is like
spies.
He's the
in
secret
shadow,
power
yeah.
behind the rebels, like in Coruscant.
Yeah.
So I could see him, and they're definitely leaning in. They said they're doing like a big portion of the set is like built around the Cassian shows,
Right.
the
Okay.
Andor shows. So
That's cool. Yeah,
how about you?
No, I mean, I think I think that would be sick. I mean, great shows and obviously like somewhat underrepresented thus far. I also was thinking about this earlier, and I'm like, what could they do? Like, it felt initially like kind of limited, but I mean, I could totally see a Tarkin, like especially with Tarkin 1 rotating in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I could see a new Tarkin as sort of like a, you know, the Grand Moff, right? Like that feels political. You know, I also was thinking like. You know, you really could dive back into some of the other, like the Trade Federation and stuff like that if you wanted to give, you know, some of those things a little bit of a facelift from the, you know, from the failings of the battle droid token spawning and stuff like that. And then you also I could totally see a Leia. I would love,
Yeah,
I would actually really love to see
Leia.
like a, you know, it either like a New Republic Leia or like, you know, I mean, I don't know if I really want to see like a sequel trilogy Leia again. I pulled one too many of those in my packs.
I have those too.
Yeah, but you know, like I really, yeah, I would love to see. I think maybe, yeah, like Leia could make a lot of sense there too. So, yeah, I was originally not thrilled about the set like theming, and this has actually gotten me a lot more excited for it.
Yeah, I think the stuff that I'm most excited for would be like the spy things. I could see us getting a new Jyn Erso too, because
Yeah, that would make sense.
first Jyn's rotating and she's just not good as well. So I could totally see a Jyn and a Cassian leader in this. I think at the very least, if we're going to see a Cassian leader,
Well, I think
we are. I think for sure. I think if we see that, we're going to see a Jyn unit. I would think almost certainly because of like the spy theme. It just makes so much sense to have that like, you know, rebel, you know, finding out the plans for the Death Star type of
you
thing.
could get a Krennic again, I guess, while we're at it.
Yeah.
You know, a new Krennic, because that'll rotate too, and that was kind of a semi-underwhelming one for the most part. There was maybe a period where it was played, like in set 1 or 2, but like, yeah, I mean,
Let's be real. There's a good chance we get another Emperor Palpatine. we already got Chancellor Palpatine, but like,
Chancellor, but yeah, the Emperor, yeah, it's true, we could.
yeah,
I would almost rather see like a Tarkin though, like, you know, we don't, as much as I love him, we don't need another Thrawn, though I could have seen that making sense, but I think Tarkin would be perfect. You know, he already is sort of more of the political / like, you know, governance side of things. So I think that would be pretty cool. And then, you know, you also have got, you know, obviously you have all of the politicking within, you know, the prequel trilogies, but a lot of unexplored terrain in the like New Republic era too, that is in like more of the comics and legacy support stuff.
it'd be interesting to see if you got like a Sifo Dyas, like the guy who like commissioned the clones.
I just
like,
watched the Tales of the Jedi Dooku episodes again.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Dooku would make so much sense. I think Dooku would be perfect for that as like a political figure. But yeah, I mean, so much opportunity, some cool keywords. Honestly, I am pretty stoked for plot, just as a way to like give these huge power spikes to decks that might otherwise not have them on their leader deploy turns. So I think that's really exciting. I think this is too early to call. We might actually see plot working its way into not plot themed leaders, just leaders that need some sort of punch when they deploy.
Yep. Yeah. Leaders that could just use a little bit of boost. Maybe they're a little understated, and you just like want them to stay alive, or maybe you like, this leader's really hard to keep alive, but freaking crap, if this 4-drop got a shield on the turn that it came out,
maybe Cal will be good. You know, if you can slap some sort of attachment onto Cal Kestis, maybe he'll stick around long enough for
maybe this is the IG-88 era. Like you flip the on, what is he, a 5? I can't even remember what he flips
God, I
on,
think
but
he's a 5.
yeah.
It's
But
the
like if
worst.
Kylo Ren, like the old Kylo Ren flipped on 4 and
Yeah.
you could give him a shield and you had reliable ways to get the cards out of your hand, like, yeah,
You're
like
throwing shield around a lot, and I don't think I like that.
I can't imagine them not creating a plot card with shield.
It might just have to be a more expensive one to prohibit, 4 because that's the thing. Like when they're balancing this, they have to be thinking about like, okay, what about the 4 flip leaders? Are they going to be able to abuse this?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, that's why I think CAD is priced at 5 and probably not priced lower because
Yeah.
like of the ability to like, if it was a 4 cost and you're flipping it with, with Kylo or Cal or Asajj or whatever, like you can totally see scenarios where it's like, holy cow, like it killed my only thing still alive and now I'm toast. Oh, it killed my village protectors.
Yeah.
Crap.
And his leader's out. And he has
His leaders out.
3,
and it's a
4.
stat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's how they're probably balancing things, and why things are going to be a little bit pricier. But nonetheless, I think even just like that, the attachment for the +3, I can totally see that being something that like evens out and stabilizes some of the like weirdly statted early deploy leaders. So.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, +3 health on a lot of the early game leaders. Like on Ventress, if you gave her
Yeah.
+3 health, like that might be a
scary.
reason to go explore that. Yeah, I mean Ventress is already like,
or whatever,
yeah, Ventress is already nasty. You flip her on 4, and yeah, she comes out with I don't even know what she would be. Player
And
something.
actually,
yeah,
she
3-4. She's gone to like a 3-7.
well, especially if there's some cheap plot actions that you would want to play, such that you've played an action, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this. This is the longest video I've certainly ever done on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, let us know if you'd like me in the end to do more videos like this, more like podcast style. I will be getting around to an Emperor Palpatine Twin Sons list, which I've been brewing with, and it's really hard because like you think that Twin Sons would be slower, but it is not. It is very fast.
It really is all over the place. I feel
Yeah.
like I've played so many pods that are like ridiculously fast, and then sometimes I'll play a pod and it's like, oh my god, we went 13 turns.
Yeah,
What the
no
heck?
one's doing anything.
No one's doing anything.
So that's going to be my next deck list. So yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for guys for checking out this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Twin Sons Syndicate and join the Syndicate with me. And yeah, be sure to come back for the next video. Thanks for watching.